Hello, guys. Welcome to today's lunch story slash testimony. I hope you guys have enjoyed the ones that have been on previously. Today with me is a Tim. Yeah, before we start, tell us a bit about yourself. What course you study, and just a random question: what movie would be greatly improved if it was made into a musical?
Okay. First of all, hi. My name is Tim. I'm a Coventry University student studying mechanical engineering in second year. Um, and with regards to that question, um, I'm still going back to we've talked about this already, haven't we?
A bit.
Avengers, but like Avengers Endgame is what came to mind for me. Um, like imagine that being a musical, like how you know that final fight scene where like
Yeah, yeah,
whole
yeah,
army versus whole army would be like super grand.
yeah.
So yeah,
That'd be something to see.
yeah. We are talking about how Hulk would have like a an opera voice, isn't it?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Just smashing somebody and then singing at the same time. Anyway, on that note, so yeah, throughout this week we've been doing this story slash testimony, and the purpose of this is just to really hear how God has changed someone's life. And today's theme, we'll be looking at the topic of what does freedom look like. This topic is quite a big, uh, and it goes into like injustice and suffering. But we're going to be looking at a bit about Tim's story. So, what does Tim? What does freedom look like in your life, Tim?
Hmm. Yeah, well, you made a good point that like yeah, freedom branches into all sorts of different things, especially social injustice. Um, yeah, but I guess ultimately like the way I see freedom is if you want to be free from something, it's basically that thing is probably a bad thing, right? Like that's the chances are it's a bad thing, and you're trying to be rid of it. You don't want it in your life. You don't want to see it. You don't want to hear it. You don't want to think about it. Whatever it is, you want freedom. Uh,
Mm,
and I think one thing that the majority, if not everyone, has that they want freedom from is brokenness or an emptiness. You know,
mm,
um, there's even if you don't feel like your life sucks or anything, people are longing for like a meaning or a
mm,
purpose. You
mm,
know, so that there is kind of like an innate and deep drive for something more, I guess.
yeah.
Um, and I think brokenness is quite like it's quite evident in a lot of people, and it's kind of like an indicator that yeah, there's just something missing, right?
Mm,
And we kind of want freedom from that. I think anybody would want freedom from their suffering, unless you've been
mm,
with it for so long that it's something that you cling to, right?
mm, mm,
Which has happened for me in the past actually. I know my friends have confided in me in the past and stuff.
mm.
Um, whether they were meant to or not. Sometimes people can kind of like show their character, right? Um,
Yeah.
in little peaks, and you can kind of see like I've just seen a brokenness in a lot of my friends. Like I know one of my mates, he's got nothing to complain about when it comes to material stuff.
Mm,
But I remember him telling me like I know there's nothing to complain about, but I just feel empty.
mm,
Um, that's not uncommon, and
mm,
um, yeah, it just seems like a harsh but real theme amongst a lot of people,
mm,
that there's something more to be had and
mm,
something to escape from in a way.
mm,
Um, and yeah, I've experienced my own brokenness. So um, yeah, for me, my dad passed away when I was 14. It was back in 2014. when I was 13. Oh my gosh, I always get this confused. It was a really hazy time in my life. So um, I was 13 turning 14 in early 2014. So it was Jan 2014 and I was 13. Um, and yeah, it was unexpected, completely unexpected. And it was an aneurysm. It's something that can happen to genuinely anybody.
Yeah.
Just a blood clot in the brain. And he was kind of alone when he passed. So is that it wasn't nice, you know. It was a pretty sucky experience. And the thing that didn't make sense was that he was a man of God. He Jesus. And yeah, so I've kind of since then I was pretty pissed at God. I guess I was pretty angry, and none of it made sense. And you know, I was born and raised in a Christian family, so the easiest thing to do was kind of say I still believed in God, but I didn't want to have anything to do with him. And to be honest, like, yeah, I did still believe in God, but I didn't have a relationship with him, nor did I really want one. So I was running away from that stuff for a long time.
How were you, trying to run away from these things, or means in which you did to kind of escape this?
Yeah, like I buried things quite deep internally, so I really didn't want to think about things. I really didn't want to talk about things at all. And I don't know, I kind of when it came to like partying and stuff like that, that was a means of escape. And you know, talking to girls and whatever it might be, there was just like stuff that I'd go to as a means of escape. And it didn't seem bad at the time, sorry, but yeah, ultimately it wasn't addressing the issue. That was the problem. And I remember there was one time where that was quite evident. And at school we had the school really tried to come alongside me in early years and stuff. Actually, throughout, there was one teacher that really kept sending me cards and stuff. He was such a nice guy. But yeah, they gave me a school counselor, and I did not want to go. Like I said, I was trying to avoid things. You know, I was escaping as much as I could. And yeah, this counselor basically sat me down in the middle of the day and had me explain what happened. And yeah, I did. And then the session was over, and she just sent me back out into school, and I was like, okay, what the heck? Because it was the first time I'd like addressed stuff in a long time. It was the first time I was like, I brought everything up on the surface, and now I was at school where I've tried to bury everything so that I don't need to show that stuff. And I pretty much had like a panic attack of sorts. I don't really know if I can call it that, but I started, you know, like hyperventilating, and I couldn't. Everything suddenly just became like this close, and I was like crying quite a bit. I didn't tell my family. I don't know if they even know now, to be honest. But yeah, I was trying to escape. And as soon as the real issues hit, I crumbled. I snapped like a twig. Yeah. Yeah.
How did Jesus bring freedom in your life?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, I've said that I wasn't really happy with Jesus. It took some time, but I don't know. There was kind of like a hopelessness about the sin that I've committed and stuff like that, and the things that I do to escape. So, you know, the stuff like I don't know, the stuff like porn and yeah, just stuff that you know is definitely bad. You know, those things were the things that I try and go to, and they really made you feel like really crap. You know, there have been times when I've like stabbed friends in the back. Those things made me feel pretty crap as well, and they make you feel quite ugly, I guess. Um, and yeah, there's just basically, I think there's a hopelessness when it comes to those things. And yeah, I think Jesus basically just showed me that he doesn't just like give me things to do to avoid the issues. Um, Eventually, when I decided that I wanted to speak to him, I told him that I was upset. I told him that I was angry, and he kind of taught me to, through reading the Bible and through learning about his character and stuff. He taught me that I can address this stuff with him, you know. Um, so I started to actually like address the brokenness I felt. I started telling him that I was angry with him. Um, I started telling him how I felt like there was no one supporting me at home, or whatever it might have been. Um, and slowly but surely, I learned that actually, you know, Jesus lived a sinless life for a reason. Sin causes you to go back to it, and it makes it everything worse, whether or not it seems like it does. And yet, you know, um, on the other side of it, Jesus addresses the problems, and he provides an actual like solution. He provides freedom, I guess. So yeah, yeah.
Mm. And do you think other people can experience this freedom that you've had a personal encounter with Jesus?
Yeah, 100%. There was one of my mates from school. I remember I wasn't. This was again before I kind of like came to this decision myself about God being good. I kind of still wrestled with that, but I also, there were times where I just felt like, you know, regardless of where I feel and where I stand with God, I know that He can bring hope to others, and He can bring freedom to others. And there was a time at a house party where like one of my mates came up to me and said, "So and so is feeling really down and he wants to speak to you." Um, so I was speaking to him, and he was crying quite a bit, and he was really broken and really like upset, and he'd kind of reached his limit. In fact, we all have a breaking point, right? Um, and he'd reached his, and he said he just can't do it anymore. Um, and he I don't know. I didn't really feel. It's quite weird. I didn't really have the hope that I felt like I needed to give him,
Mm.
but I prayed for him in Jesus's name, and that weekend, it was either him that messaged me or his friend that initially came up to me at the party that let me know. But yeah, he was physically healed from that. I won't go into what it was that, yeah, had happened to him, but it was kind of like a form of self harm, and he was healed from it, and he couldn't believe it, right? And so that, yeah, I do think that people can experience the same freedom, even physical freedom. And I think, you know, actually now I don't even know if that dude is um, a Christian. I don't know if he knows Jesus like that. Um, but you know, I think that that's kind of telling of the fact that you can actually only really have Jesus in your life. Well, you can have as much freedom as you're willing to have, if that makes sense. Like Jesus can give you freedom. It's about how much you want to take, I guess. Um, and don't get me wrong, like I run away from him sometimes, and I run back to sin because it's something that we've got programmed in us. But I now know that he's someone that I can address my issues with, you know. Um, yeah.
Mm. And the follow-up, I guess, will be what what made you face want to follow Jesus?
Yeah. Um, well, I guess it's not technically at first, but this was something that
Mm.
made me kind of like really decide like I want to take this seriously, and it was in my gap year. I took a gap year. And I went and did like a missionary school where I actually learnt about Jesus and I learnt about the word and stuff. And that's when I started reading the Bible and addressing the tough questions and addressing the brokenness. And it was like week 4, I believe, titled Repentance and Forgiveness. And yeah, it kind of showed us what sin was. And so it was kind of like, I don't know, at the end of the week, we did like an application thing where we went away after we'd been told what sin was. And we kind of prayed about it and we asked God to tell us, okay, what do I need to ask you for forgiveness from? And I had a whole like list of sins. And yeah, basically, I don't know. I kind of just had, yeah, there was a lot to get off my chest. It's kind of like the deep, dark stuff that you don't want to tell anyone. And there was like a room of like 20 odd people, and I repented of those sins, and to repent of those sins means to like, say you're sorry to God, but it also means that you're wanting to turn away from those things. And so all of this stuff that I've been using to escape my brokenness, I was saying sorry for. And yeah, I kind of, there was like a model cross in the room, really very cringy, but it was like, I don't know, that's my ceiling. It was about like that high-ish. It was quite high. And there was a box of nails and a hammer. And I wrote out all of these sins, and actually people that I needed to forgive, people that had hurt me as well and caused me more brokenness, I guess, caused me more pain and grief. And I'd had that all written out. And after I shared that to the class and prayed about it, I walked over to this cross and folded this up and put a nail through it and hammered it to the cross. Symbolic stuff, whatever. And I thought it was a bit corny myself. But as I did it, there was like a weight of, like, there was just a weight that was just gone. Like, it was so obvious. It felt like a ton of bricks almost. And I can't really like remember what it felt like to live with it. You know, but that was a moment where I was like, man, I have been trying my hardest to avoid the issues and to avoid the brokenness. And for so long, I've been doing that in a way that dishonors God. And he forgave me in like, you know, a second, in the blink of an eye. And the feeling of grace and the feeling of freedom from those sins and from doing those wrong things was immensely greater than running away from the brokenness. And it provided a means to an end. So yeah, that was the kind of defining moment for me where I was like, not only do I want to not sin anymore, I want to live for you. And I want to tell other people about this feeling and this hope that there is an answer to your brokenness and he can, you know, address those things. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much, Tim. That's, yeah, really encouraging to hear that, and yeah, to see a bit of what God has done in your life and what God continues doing in your life. Yeah, thank you very much, guys, for joining us. I hope this has been impactful for you guys and encouraging in some form. If you'd like to find out a bit more about what Christianity is about what we're doing throughout this week, feel free to message us on our social platform. But for now, from me and Tim, we hope you guys have a good day. See you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you.